Well, hello. Welcome to Perfectly Twisted with Nicole Eggert and Dave Palais.
How you doing this morning? I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
You are?
They won.
I mean,
Nicole,
listen.
my team won after all the times I bothered you wearing this Dodger hat. They won.
I mean, it's my team too. It's my team too. Yes. Yes. Let's focus on that the Dodgers won.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that and not what we woke up to this morning. We're recording. It's Wednesday the 6th. So everybody, we just woke up to the election news, and this is obviously not a political show. But I will say, I have to say one thing, and I have been on both sides, Republican and Democrat. I'm mostly independent, and never have I taken anything, personal with an election. But this is what I will say to this one, and I know better than to speak when I'm angry, but I'm going to say this to the people in my life that just voted and blatantly kicked me in the face, and all women in the face, and my daughters in the face, just kicked them. My friends and brothers and sisters of color and my queer brothers and sisters, you just kicked us all in the face. You just voted for me to not get the affordable health care that I so desperately and rely on right now. You voted against all of that. So I won't say anything. I'll still be kind. I will allow you to be who you are. But what's the saying? Never forget. Never forget. Uh-huh. Never forget.
As they say now, you're keeping receipts.
Listen, I mean, it's glaring. It's glaring. And, it was a very personal election for human rights. So, if you voted to kick us in the face, you're going to get what's coming. I can't believe people think that this is going to lower the price of gas. Above all, and what I find so ironic is it's these states that are mostly on welfare that vote to for this for the Trump. It's do they not realize that those can be taken away now? You're not going to get your welfare. You're not going to get your food stamps. You just voted against yourself, and they think that it's going to lower their price of gas and their taxes. Come on. God, the education system failed us all. Failed us.
Talking about getting rid of the public school education.
To get rid of it, which I look at in a positive. I'm trying to put a positive spin on that. Is that if you get rid of it, then we can rebuild it, right? We could rebuild it correctly, hopefully, because yes, it is not doing us well. So okay, rant over. I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed.
I'll say the three things that bother me the most. Okay, just real fast. Number one, I feel bad for the people of the Ukraine. They're in trouble. You're about to be a prisoner in your own state when Russia takes you over. That's sad. I don't know anyone that's Ukrainian, but it doesn't matter. I'm a human being. I can't imagine the fear they're going through right now. Two is I have a niece who works actually in the White House, and she was hired to reunite the families of the kids that were separated from their parents. And now she will lose her job, which means those kids that she hasn't reunited yet will never find their parents. And the third one is, it's sad to say, in 2024, racism has never been stronger. And you keep thinking the world's getting better, but then to sit here and say that racism isn't an issue, it's a major issue.
Oh, this was white privilege at its finest, or at its most powerful,
Worst.
should I say? I mean, it is at its worst, but yes, yeah, and here we are. So, and my poor little one came in just horrified, and I had to put her at ease, you're gonna be fine, and because she is half Latino, she doesn't look it, and and the horrible the things that go through your mind as a protective parent, you're at least we're in California,
Yeah.
At least she looks white. I mean, how horrible is all of it? It's just okay. We can go on and on and on. But everybody's entitled to their beliefs, and that's why we live here in America. And everybody gets their chance. So here we go.
Well, as of yesterday, he kept saying that this will be the last time you'll have to vote. What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. it's like as much as I want this to blow up in their face, I don't, because I do love
you're
the
an American.
country. So it's like you're at a standstill. Like my hands are tied. I don't know. It's crazy. But time will tell.
Absolutely.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
So on to better topics.
Entertainment.
More fun. On to entertainment. So we have a great guest today. Oh, okay, so much fun. He started a podcast very much about Housewives, which we all love, and he also has a lot of actors and actresses on, very 80s and 90s focused. It's called Behind the Velvet Ropes. It's very Behind the Velvet Rope. He's very he's done so well for himself, and he is on a lot of episodes. You can catch him when they have gatherings and parties and things like that. He's had all the guests on: Tamara Judge, Heather and Terry Dubrow, Shayna Shea, Leanne Loughlin, Sutton Strack. It goes on and on and on. He's had them all on. So and I've been on his podcast. So let's introduce David Yontef.
Hello.
Yontef.
Hey.
Yontef. God. Good
Yontef.
morning.
I was going to say, way to bury the lead. I've had you on, Nicole. I mean, if everyone wants to listen to any episode of my podcast, Behind the Velvet Rope, it should be the one with you. I think you were even a two-parter because we chatted for so long in such a good way. Well, you know what it is? It's like when I love when someone checks multiple boxes. So like, you came on, like I had my plan of what I wanted to talk to you about, obviously all the big things you've done. But then when I found out you were a Bravo fan yourself and you knew some of these people, I was like, oh, I didn't expect to talk Bravo. So we ended up having a nice two-part episode.
Yeah, that's always fun when the worlds collide.
Exactly.
So tell us, like, what was your how long ago did you start the podcast? What was your like thought process? And like, were you in it before there was a lot of Bravo based podcasts, or because I think you were like kind of a pioneer of it, right?
Like I've done some different things in my life. Believe it or not, I used to practice corporate tax law back in the day. I have like reinvented myself professionally many times. So I was a lawyer and then I was in HR and recruiting. So to make a really long story short, I really was never in entertainment, but I kind of fell in with a bunch of housewives in New York City. Just because, I mean, I live in New York. I live between New York and LA. Like these reality star people are around. So I kind of just fell in with a bunch of housewives in New York. And I was like, somehow this is a business, but I didn't know what to do with it. So to make a long story short, when I started my podcast, the thought process was like, it was going to be like Wendy Williams. Like Wendy Williams notoriously would go out with her friends at night and then talk about it the next day on air. Now, of course, if someone were like announcing a divorce in 3 weeks, like I wasn't an idiot. Like we're not going to reveal real information here, but like if someone maybe had like an extra drink or two, like just fun things. I'm like, this is my life, but like to the outside world, like these are tidbits that I think might be interesting to someone. So when I started my podcast, and I didn't really start before all the big Bravo podcasts. I started in 2020. So there were it's weird. Podcasting has come a long way in the past 5 years, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So I don't think I was like, I don't even know if I could build my show to what it is today if I started today, but I would like to think I could. So I don't think I was early, but I don't think I was late. Maybe it was like right in the middle. But there were a bunch of Bravo podcasts that were around before me, and I reached out to them. I'm like, let's do swaps. And nobody wanted to talk to me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get myself to the top of the charts without help from any of you because none of you seem to want to embrace me. I even saw certain like texts from certain people that I'm now friends with that were like, don't let him come into the industry. Like it's a competitive industry. So stuff like that does just motivate me. I'm like, yeah, that's not how this is going to work. So you guys do your thing. I'm going to figure this out. I mean, I started right before COVID. So look, do I think COVID helped my show? I do. I think my show would have been where it is today regardless. But, in like a month and a half in, we had COVID, and I ended up reaching out to all these people for interviews. And all of a sudden, everybody started getting back to me because people were at home and had nothing to do. I was like, and look, you're not going to get on a plane and fly to New York, especially at that point. My podcast wasn't well known. So, listen, we didn't have Zoom in our lives back in the day. So I think that everyone was home and didn't have anything to do. A lot of people were saying yes to interviews that may not have, considering I just started like 4 weeks ago. So that's kind of how it built up. And it really became like a 2-day-a-week thing, 3-day. And it really now is every single day of the week. There is a show that goes out.
That's amazing. That's a lot of work. But obviously you're a hustler having all these careers at such a young age. I mean, those are big tasks.
I'm a Gemini. Like, I really can just, like, there's even a lot of things that I outsource. I even do podcast consulting on the weekends. Like, I started like a side business because, look, I wish there was someone like myself that I could have asked when I started. So there's a lot of things I didn't do that were outsourced, and I just slowly took a lot of things back in-house and did them myself. I'm really just the type that could do a lot of different things at once and get it all done.
Yeah, that's a talent. That's a talent you're either born with or not, right?
Yes. You're either born with it or you're not.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. So tell me, okay, so tell Dave, give Dave a little bit of the inside, like, let's talk. Can we talk Tamara just for a second? Because Tamara's a big one with Dave. Dave can't stand her. So let's talk Tamara.
Do you know Housewives, Dave? I was going to say, are you?
I know it.
Housewives. Okay.
I do know it. That's Nicole and that's our favorite topic. But I got to tell you, just before you even talk about Tamara, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is every season I want to like her, and every season when it starts, I go, all right, she's changed. She's going to be the person I want her to be. And within 2 or 3 episodes, she's exactly who she's always been. This year on episode 1, she went right back to being the person I can't stand. But yet I like her on the show. Like when she wasn't on the show, I didn't like the show as much. I needed her on the show.
That is really the dilemma of Tamara Judge, right? Because she is good TV. She is good TV. Like, we need her there. But yeah, has anyone really liked Tamara? Now, of course, in year 5, my show also has morphed into, I report on all this. So look, like before we even went on the air, Nicole, you said, I'm beloved by many housewives and I'm hated by many housewives. There's no love loss in the real world off air between me and Tamara. She, I do block some people, but Tamara has blocked me a long time ago. So she's not such a fan of mine. She is just... She's not an easily likable person, is she, Dave? No,
I have to agree with that. And, she started following me on Instagram, and then she liked some of my posts, and I started panicking a little bit because I thought, oh my God, she's going to watch something and see what we've said. But, and I say it over again. This is why we watch these shows, to love and hate people. It's not really a personal, like, obviously in real life, do we hate her or dislike her? It's just, it's all part of reality TV. Is about fighting. It is, right? It's about drama and taking sides. And so it's not like I don't take it as real, but
I'm the same way. And look, I don't hold myself to a higher standard. Like, people say lots of shit about me. Like, I have a public platform that I've been on for 5 years. Go on to Reddit and put my name in. It ain't pretty. So I don't get upset. Like, I truly am that person that, like, I don't care what you say about me. I don't take it personally. You don't know me. That is the way to live your life. You'll drive yourself crazy otherwise. So I agree with you, Nicole. Like, this is just my job. And when you act like an asshole on the show, I'm going to say it because that's the job I do. How could you take it personally? And honestly, it's funny because I have had a lot of actresses like yourself on my show, Nicole, and a lot of actors and music people. It's never actual actors, actresses, music people from Broadway. It's only reality stars that I'm like, oh my God, like, how did you even hear this? This is like a random episode that wasn't even big. It's like they listen to every little thing that is said about them. They're the ones that get mad. It's never somebody with like an actor or actress or you never hear from them afterwards.
Probably because they don't have that like back training that actors have, that you're told like you just play nice, don't look, ignore. You're gonna have people that love and hate you, and it's ironic because they threw themselves right in the middle of scrutiny. I mean, that's the platform they are on, is judge me. And that's just the name of the game of that, being in the reality world. So they should have some sort of like a schooling process before they start these shows.
I have said, and this is no ego or arrogance, but I have said that if I can come back in my next life, because I don't have time in this life, I truly mean this. I would start a school for like housewives and reality TV people and be like, this is what you do to get on the show. This is what year 1 you should do. For year 5, you should do this. I would literally give you the roadmap of what to do and what not to do. Because then people get fired. Eventually, all of these housewives get fired and they're always shocked. And a lot of times it's like, no, it was obvious it was your season. And I understand that you lose yourself in it somewhere, but it's like, no, like this is a job. And to your point, like this is the job. You cannot have one without the other. Like if you cannot handle the public scrutiny and being hated or loved, then what are you doing there? You can't have the money and the fame and the job without the other. That's part of the job.
It's 100%. And you want the people to be split about you. I mean, it's like, and you can't possibly go in there saying, well, I'm going to be a good person and people are going to love me. Look at the world right now. It's split right down the middle. It's like, no, you cannot appeal to everybody. So, yeah, that's a big one. And you don't want to go in there and be the nice guy, because then you're boring and you're going to get canned right away.
Yeah. Yes. And yes. And like, look, certain housewives are better at it than like if I were on the show, I would, and some do this, very few, but I would show up. I mean, you really don't come back next season or not come back based on your Twitter behavior, hating someone else. So it's like you're bringing all this angst into your life. Like the check has already cleared. There's no extra money for being on Twitter and fighting with, fans or viewers or your ex-housewives or current housewives. So I would just personally show up and do it all on air. And when we weren't on air, I'd be like, it's not that deep. Like, I don't care. You could say whatever you want about me online. I'm not clapping back. There's no extra check for this. So the job is done this season.
You're right. And that kind of was Lisa's demise, right?
Lisa Rinna.
Lisa Rinna, yeah, she kind of lost it online, right? Like she was. I think that it would be smart to do what you said, show up on camera with it all, and maybe hire somebody to handle the social media and pretend to be you, so that you're not tempted to read it. Just stay off of it altogether and have somebody else like manage that for you, because
I think that would be the greatest thing, right? Because it's hard. Like I read my comments now because I truly attribute that to part of how I built my podcast so big. Like I do truly try to respond to as many comments, and if not all the comments. I just feel it's like a community. Like you listen to me every day, so I can't let the bad comments. Look, if you go really low, like I will block you. It's just that simple. People always apologize to me. Like, we're talking about Tamara. Someone will leave a comment like, I'm really sorry. I disagree. I like Tamara. I'm like, that's okay. You could disagree with me all day. Like, if you go low, I'm going to really low. I'll block you. But I feel like I want to look at the comments but it's different. Like if someone were that big and busy, yeah, I would just hire someone to engage.
Yeah, because that would be really hard. And these are people who are probably seeing themselves on TV for the first time. And I think that there's a sense of like when people are seeing themselves on TV, they're kind of partial and they think they're doing great. There's either going to be that they think they're great, or they're going to be like, oh my God, that's how I behave, and they're going to overcorrect. I would imagine that's hard to see yourself just being you on TV. It's like, at least it's for actors, right? We're not being ourselves. This is acting. They're throwing themselves out there. So I think it would be hard to not take it personal, but I mean, that's
like if someone hated a character of yours that you played, you wouldn't take it personally.
No, it would be
Because
like, good, because I did my job. You were supposed to hate that character, right? You take it as a
yeah.
compliment. Mm, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the difference. Although, like there's editing and like, yeah, I'm sure you said this different and the producers, they have it mapped out, right? Like
Yeah.
this season, Shannon, I mean, I don't know if Tamara really understood. Like I think Tamara came into this season thinking that America and the world was going to hate Shannon. So I think Tamara came in saying like, you crashed your car into a house. This is very irresponsible. Your dog was in the car. Everyone's going to hate you. And you're going to get that edit. And I'm going to be the hero of the season. I think that's what Tamara expected, right?
I
Like
think
who
you're right.
expected? I mean, I didn't expect Shannon to get this redemption edit, which she has gotten. So I think like a lot of it is just, I think producers decide what they're going to do with you. So that's even more of a reason I would be like, God, I'm still here after 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, 9 years. Like, let's just ride this thing. Like you can hate me all day. Like, I don't care. The check cleared. That really would be me, really.
If you were in Shannon's position though this season, like if that was me and everyone knows what happened publicly off camera, wouldn't you make sure that every time you were filmed that you did not have a drink in your hand? I mean, the fact that she still has drinks in her hand almost every episode blows me away, because I think a lot of people understand the struggle of alcohol, of saying it's a disease, and a lot of people will say, "Look, I know someone who has struggled with it." But to sit there and film almost every scene, every episode has her with a drink in her hand. Like, can't you just stop drinking while they're filming? It's crazy.
I probably wouldn't drink on camera. Yeah. First of all, I wouldn't leave the job because I would be like, I'm holding on to the job for anything. And I do face my if I do something, I'm fine. But I agree. Like, I would not have a drink in my hand if the whole world knows that I mean, that's embarrassing enough
Yeah.
that your car went into a house.
Yeah, that's horrible. But I'm sure she's
Yeah.
horrified. I'm sure she's horrified by that, which is probably making her drink every time they bring it up. Being in front of the camera and having them constantly throwing it in her face, or at least Tamara throwing it in her face, is driving her to drink more, Dave.
I agree.
And I think she tries to sneak off and those cameras get her. I think there's no way around it. She's in a tough place. And
Yeah.
if she didn't drink at all, then they'd criticize her for that too. I mean, she's not going to win either way.
That's true. It's just strange that like on Potomac, I don't know if you guys are watching Potomac, like
Yeah.
Karen Huger has the same thing and her edit is going much different than Shannon's. I mean, the entire story is about her and does she really have a problem? And we need you to go to, I mean, Tamara's kind of saying that, but this isn't really the favorable edit that Shannon's getting.
No, it's not. And I think, for me, at least, I feel it's because she won't really admit it or own it. Karen's just not owning it. You have to say, yes, I did this. I messed up. Boy, was that scary. Boy, was that horrible. Did I make such a terrible decision? And then you kind of are released from it and you can move on. But I haven't seen her really do that. Or did I miss that? Because I just haven't seen her. I've seen a lot of
No.
excuses coming out of Karen. At
Yeah,
least
she
Shannon
hasn't
is
really.
like, Shannon is like, look at that bloody picture of her face and talking about it. At least she's like showing up.
That's what makes Shannon a great housewife, because she does put it out there and handle it and face it. And, the next season won't be about this. I mean, we're going to move on. Like, it won't be. I mean, look at Erica Jane on Beverly Hills. Like, we've moved on from her and Tom. So you just got to face it, and Shannon will definitely be back next season. So it is what it is. Right. But yeah, Karen, I don't think has really owned it.
Do you think Tamara will be back?
I think everyone's going to come back. I think they're so happy with this season and the way that it's gone. It's like, I think it's one of the best OC seasons in like a long time.
Yeah.
What about when it ended? Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Roni? What are you thinking about?
God. I mean, my listeners on Behind the Velvet Rope podcast they're not sick of hearing me say this because they agree with me, but I try to just find something positive about Roni. I mean, again, like New York, LA, those are my two homes. So maybe sometimes I take myself out of it. I'm like, am I judging this harsher because like these are my people? No, I find it so boring. And I mean, we all know that these people did not know each other before. but there's like no chemistry. Like you compare it to like, it's the same production company as Salt Lake. It's Shed Media. So yeah, I don't know if you guys watch Salt Lake, but like the same people that are dealing with Meredith Marks, superstar, Lisa Barlow, superstar, Mary Cosby, super, like we have such, I mean, I see why the Salt Lake was green lit. It's like nothing is happening on Salt Lake. And these people are like batshit crazy, all of them. In like the best way. They are all just insane. They know how to show up and do a scene. Everyone is, this one's not even paying attention. She looks up and has three. It's phenomenal. It's so funny. How is this the same production company? Like some people are just not meant to be on TV. I mean, I am so bored with Roni. I don't know what you guys think, but I
so bored.
I can't find anything I like about it, really.
No, and I think that they're all way too hyper aware of their image and like what they want to portray. And so it's like not authentic. I'm not seeing anybody for their authentic selves. They're all kind of whiny and yeah, it's just really just vanilla and dull.
You know what? It seems like to me that Erin is the only one on the show that's like, hey guys, we need a storyline. And then she like almost tries too hard to create a storyline and then they hate her guts. But it seems like she's the only one that even gets like what we're trying to do here, and no one else knows how to play the game.
Right, she gets it.
Yeah, she gets it, but she's annoying, and I can't stop thinking I'm watching Jennifer Aniston. Like I can't get it. I can't. It doesn't. I forget, and I'm like, wait, no, that's not Jen Aniston. And I have a real hard time with her.
And like
she's trying too hard because she's the only one that's doing it. And yeah, Bren is someone, you know, obviously people talk about because she, you know, she's supposedly sleeps around and she's supposed to be young and everything else, but there's nothing there. I'm with the two of you. It is boring as can be, but I'm stuck. Like I show up every week and I'm like, I'm so dumb.
I mean, you show up probably more than I do. I've been doing this and now that I'm ending my 5th year. I mean, I phone it in sometimes. Like I just cut corners, and Roni is when I'm like, I just can't. Oh, please don't make me watch this. I want to like it so much. And, you know, I think they're breaking the fourth wall and they're showing Brynn. She's almost producing too. Like they're admitting that she's saying to people like, do this differently or do this, you know, it's like, I don't know, like that almost ruins it. It's like, it's clear that she's trying to get everyone to, so I don't know, like when they were filming this for a second season, if they knew it wasn't great, but I see a lot of people online are like, please just put it out of its misery. Just let's move on.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true.
I've tried. Bethany Frankel said that she got a call from 2 different people on the same day, like 2 days ago. And it was like, are you watching the new Roni? Of course, she was happy to tell us she isn't. And they were like, it's horrible. She's like, what do you want me to do about this? But I wish it was better. I feel like we're only 2 seasons in. Just end it.
Just end it.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't gone anywhere these 2 seasons. But Salt Lake City, woo! And Mary Cosby, way to show up, Mary. She is so bizarre. It makes me so uncomfortable, and I love it so much. It could just be about her, and I would watch.
I agree, because like, you know, it's authentic. She's not trying to have one-liners. This is actually Mary. This is who she is. When she was it last week or the week before or whatever it was, where she sat down with those 2 like teenage girls and was telling them about the fight, and she's like, let me tell you what I'm like, this is just hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
she's for her, because she came back this year finally giving some. I give Andy or whoever at Bravo made that decision to not just write her off because she brought nothing a year ago, and then this year she's like, all right, I'm gonna do the show, and she has been obviously the highlight. The only thing that bothers me on that show, just as a viewer, because I'm so bad with faces and names, every time I see Meredith and Lisa, I have to go, which one am I watching? They look too similar to me.
I had that problem in the beginning. I can tell them apart easily now, but in the beginning I felt that way too. I was like, oh no. When the show started, I was like, oh no, they're twins. But
you're like, who is this?
Yeah.
It's so good though. It's so good.
It is so good. And so Whitney, her stuff is from Alibaba, right? Are we finding out this is true? Her curated goods.
I think that's where we are, right? I mean, I know there's like a lot of back and forth about, and like when it gets into like a lot of nitty gritty and it doesn't happen on the show, I'm like, okay, do we really need to dive into this? But like, I know that there was this stuff about like a fake phone call. And yeah, I mean, it seems like her stuff is from there, right?
Yeah, but part of me is like, do I care? Because first of all, it kind of put Alibaba on the map for people who don't know about it already. So, and what is the harm really? I guess I'm sure plenty of companies outsource like that and go to mass marketers, and mass retailers, and then handpick the good stuff and then resell it. I mean, that's what retail is, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, like she has a public platform, like she's bringing it to us and she's buying it. So, right? So I
Yeah,
mean, isn't that like a win-win for everybody? Like
yeah.
if I were to buy something from someone in the corner and then bring it onto my platform, which is bigger, couldn't I do that? I mean, what harm is
Y-
that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how retail works. Is you outsource and then
Maybe
you bring it and
but is she saying she designed it? I guess is that
I
the
think
problem?
she didn't say she designed it, but I think she did say it was curated by, artists. So I think that's where it got
Because I
the
mean, I
laugh.
could see if I go and buy something down the street and say, "Look at my designs." Okay, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a
But if
problem.
I say I'm curating this and bring it, I mean, isn't that like what Etsy is? And I mean, all
Yeah.
these online stores. But yeah, I guess that she's saying, well, I mean, it is curated, I guess, by artists. There's probably has people helping her find it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't hate the player, you gotta hate the game, right? And
Yeah,
she's just she's just creating a business. It's better than not doing anything
I agree.
when you have that platform.
I
Yeah.
Hey, Dave,
agree.
Dave, we got a question for you about since you've had Heather Dubrow on your show. Heather Dubrow to me always feels like she's too big for Housewives of Orange County. Like in her dream scenario, she should be on Housewives of Beverly Hills. Am I
I
wrong?
I mean, first of all, her and Terry live in LA now. They don't even live in Orange County. So, I mean, yeah, I think she would be great on Beverly Hills. I feel that and I went to something, Sutton had people over at her store like a few weeks ago, and like Kathy Hilton was here, and like Heather Dubrow was there. So she hangs out with these Beverly Hills housewives. I feel that she wants to be on Beverly Hills without wanting to be on Beverly Hills. Like, in a way, you have it pretty easy where you are. I mean, if you come to Beverly Hills, I mean, it's Kyle's show, even though it's an ensemble. Like, I don't know. I think I would love to see Heather on Beverly Hills, and I think she wants to be there. But I think at the same time, you're gonna have to play with like Kyle and Erica. Like, and you
Yeah.
better get ready. And
Yeah,
you better
because right
bring
now
some
she's like the
drama.
big
You're gonna have
fish.
to fight. Yeah, you're gonna have to fight with these
Yeah.
people. I think she'd much rather fight with like Emily and Gina, who
Emily.
I think she deems below her in her
Yeah.
own mind. That's what I think, right?
Yeah, she's like the big fish in the little pond over
Yeah.
at OC. If she goes to Beverly Hills, she's the little fish in the big pond. So it would definitely change her dynamic of where she stands in the group.
Like, who are you gonna fight with? She's gonna have to find somebody,
Yeah,
you
yeah, and
know?
that might be too close for comfort for her. I wonder why they moved to LA though. It seems to me like the only reason that would make sense is so that she could be on that show. Because why else are they moving there? And Terry has to make that drive every day now, that commute. Like I get so confused. Unless he's going to open a practice in LA in Beverly Hills. Like I'm a little confused about that. But
I mean, I think they like the life. Like, I mean, they go to Craig's. I mean, they're not like, let's stay in. Like, they
true,
are. I mean, listen, if you're going to Craig's, you're there for one reason and one reason
right?
only, right?
Yeah,
Okay, the food isn't bad, but let's face it, you're going to like be photographed, coming in, going out. That's where they go. It's not like they go to like the little restaurant that's great 3 blocks from where they live.
right. No, you're
So
right.
I think they want the lifestyle of LA.
I saw something where Terry I think it was probably on Housewives. He said
Yeah.
that he loves the
Loves it.
paparazzi, like he loves being
Yeah.
photographed by them. So, okay, yeah, you're
Interesting.
right. And he does film. They do film botched in LA, so there's that part too. I guess I kind of forgot about.
Yeah. And I mean, I could be wrong. I thought he had some small satellite office in LA anyway, but I could be wrong about that.
Probably. I mean, he
I might.
must at this point for the show. At least just for the show, he must.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so, but maybe I'm
yeah,
wrong.
because he didn't years back when because I got a boob reduction from him, and he
Oh, yeah,
didn't
that's
then,
right.
but that's been 5 or 6 years, I want to say. So,
I keep
um,
forgetting you were on Botched.
yeah, well, I went to
But
him
that's right.
for a reduction, and he said, "Why don't you come on the show?" And he's like, "You get paid to get a free boob job, free boob reduction."
Why
And I was like,
not?
"This makes sense."
Yeah,
And he's like, "And
like,
you're not
sign me up.
botched." He's like, "You're not botched, so we can only produce it so much like that, you know?" So, yeah, it was sort of one of those win-wins for me, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, free plastic surgery of any sort, sign me up.
Yeah,
David,
right?
I got a question for you about because you
Yeah.
said that you think hey, I could do a training on how to do these shows, how to start, how to continue going on through different seasons. Can you explain Vicky? Like, what happened that Vicky burned her bridge that she's not a main character anymore?
Vicky is another one. There's no love lost between us either in the real world.
Good. I'm glad to hear that one. Actually,
Yes, I have a lot of problems with Vicky as a person off air. I feel Vicky as a person, it's the same as what you see on air. She's just very not self-aware. And I really love self-aware people. Like, I can tell you when I'm being a bitch. I can tell you when I'm being difficult. Like, I get it. I'm exhausted because I'm working so hard today. And yes, I'm taking this out on you and I'm sorry, but I just need this done. That's me. I don't like the whole, like, I would never do this. And that really is Vicky off the air. And it's like, but you do. Like, so I find Vicky to be not self-aware, that she thinks she's some pious Christian woman that lives a pious life, which is fine if that's you, but it's not you. So how could you not see the things that you've done over the years?
Yeah,
Like, at
totally
least with,
hypocritical.
right? Like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I almost would prefer Tamara because I think Tamara secretly knows that she's just an awful person. Like, I think she knows. Like, she knows what she's doing. It's mostly for the show, but I think Vicky really thinks, like, we don't behave that way. And that's not really an act, knowing her. It's just how she is.
It's kind of very similar to the way Ramona acts,
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
Yes. But I
It's that
think
same.
Vicky just, I don't think she fits in. Like, I think it's just time to, I actually don't think Vicky's going to be back. I think she came back this season because they needed her to support Shannon and kind of go after Tamara. And I think that was wrapped up pretty quickly. And I really don't think Vicky's coming back. That's just my gut.
what about Alexis? She seemed to get her feelings hurt the last couple of weeks.
She did. A lot of people, well, Shannon just came out. I don't know if you know this. Shannon came out and said that she won't ever film with Alexis again. Now, she's not saying she won't come back if Alexis is there, but I don't know. I mean, Teresa and Melissa just filmed a season where they didn't speak to each other, and now we have a pause, and one of them is going to go. And Tom and Ariana didn't speak to each other on Vanderpump Rules, and now we don't know if that will ever come back. Like, I would just be really careful of these statements. So I don't know. Maybe it's a smart statement by Shannon, and the producers are like, well, Shannon's a full-time housewife and she's coming back, so I guess we have to cut ties with Alexis. Maybe that'll work, but I just feel that aside, I feel Alexis is going to come back. I mean, yeah, a lot of her storyline was John and like Shannon, but there's like, look, Tamara will film with her. Heather will film with her. I mean, she did good for a friend of. She was right in the middle of it all. I just have a weird feeling she's coming back. I don't mind her as
blatantly
much
lied.
as,
Like, she was proving kind of a blatant liar. Yeah. So I wonder how the fans, how are fans reacting to her, and is she getting a lot of like hate for all that? I don't know what.
yes,
Yeah.
they hate her.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they hate her or Tamara more this season, but it's a very close call.
I would imagine. Yeah, because that was kind of icky behavior, and especially over John.
I even saw a poll. You know how they do these polls, like even on Watch What Happens, but they do it like, whose team are you on? Like Melissa, Teresa, it's like 49-51. I saw a poll about like Team Shannon or Team Alexis, and it was literally 0 to 100 in favor.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never, and someone's like, have you ever? I've never seen 0 or 100. No, never.
Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, people hate her.
Yeah, she very she was uncovered to show that she walked in there to hurt Shannon. Her whole mission, she was exposed. Her whole mission was to hurt Shannon, and I don't think when it's that blatant and that obvious, I don't think people are going to respond to that well at all. You've got to be a little more sneaky and a little more clever than she is, I think. So
Totally.
not the brightest.
I agree.
Jesus, Chugs, not the brightest. So David and I were at a signing recently, the Hollywood show, and Lisa Rinna was seated directly across from me, and I was so excited. I wanted to talk to her, and then she left early and then never showed up the next day. So I was bummed. Did you talk to her, David?
Thank God I did. So yeah, it's like right, it was the Hollywood show. Yes, I did. She knew who I was from my podcast. She was like, thank you. Because I mean, actually, I say good things about her. So she was like, and I actually had the writer, she was in a movie called Mommy Meanest. It was on Lifetime, like maybe 9 months ago. The person that wrote that contacted me and he's like, can I come on? We'll talk all about Rinna and Housewives. I'm like, yeah, this actually ties in. And we said great things. So she knew about the interview. She was like, thank you, for saying great things about me. And, I was like, I think, but I did talk to her and we talked about Housewives. She says she'll never go back. I mean, I was shocked at how much she was actually telling me. I'm like, anyone that doesn't really listen, if you say to me, dude, this is not for air, I would never repeat it on air. But if you're just casually telling me something, I'm like, please do keep talking. So, I mean, I think part of everything she was saying to me was like, well, he's probably just going to go repeat it. So you always have to wonder if but she says she'll never go back. And she's like, okay, of course I would for a certain amount of money, but it's so extreme. They would never offer it. But, look, she's killing it now. I mean, she is like become a fashion model at 60 and she isn't sitting there talking about Housewives. Like it really is the way to do it. I don't think she really liked being at the Hollywood show because she left early. I mean, granted, it is much busier on Saturday at these shows always. So I don't know what she was expecting or if she felt like, this isn't busy enough. I thought it was going to be busier.
Yeah, I think so. And in all honesty, because Harry did show up, her husband, Harry Hamlin, did show up for Saturday and he was there. It was slow for him. It was slow. I'm not sure how much sauce he sold. So and it's not a reflection of them. It's a reflection of the crowd, of who shows up at those things and what they're there for. And the Hollywood show is kind of it's not one of the bigger shows. It's kind of, I probably wouldn't go if it wasn't right down the street from my house, but it's literally right down the street from my house. So it's like, why would I not go? And I think that most people were there for Sharknado stuff, that they seemed to be the busiest. And then I did okay. I did well for, for just being part of the Baywatch crew. And it was definitely worth the couple hours I spent there. But it's kind of a hit or miss with those things.
I feel that because I go to a lot of these things because I cover them for my podcast. I do think I feel the Hollywood show for some reason is just like a slower show than most. It's just, but Lisa and Harry live really close by too. So, I mean, I think that's the good thing about it. But yeah, I thought like maybe Baywatch was second to Sharknado, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
but that's just a slow one, so they should just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I don't think a huge Housewives crowd was there at all. These are mostly, they would be there for Lisa for her acting jobs that she has done. So, not necessarily for Real Housewives. So definitely, not really her crowd. But I was bummed. I wanted her to be there. I wanted to talk to her.
I know. Like I was like, thank God I talked to her and took a picture. I was like, because I mean, it was I'm lucky because she did not come back the next day, and they were like at the front desk were like, well, we have no idea. Yeah, like they said she didn't feel well, but we all know how that goes.
Yes.
It's just not crowded on a Friday night at these Hollywood shows anyway. No. That one especially is slower.
Yeah, you don't show up on Friday night to really make money. You show up to get set up. I try to take care of all the pictures I have to sign for the house. I get that out of the way. I get everything there and set up so that Saturday is just easy. You just walk in and out.
Yeah. And it's close to where I live too. So that one I always go to.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, and Dave, who runs that, is a friend of mine. So yeah, I feel obligated, and yeah, it's worth it. But
It's an easy one.
yeah, we're going to one in Toronto this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and now I'm like, yeah. So that, but it's a different kind. It's like a sports. It's more of a
Oh.
sports card one. So it's apparently like really, really different. And then I read a couple comments, and the promoters put, the Baywatch crew that's going to be there, and some guys wrote why, and then one guy wrote, yeah, none of them look like this anymore. Now they're all old and wrinkled. And
Well,
I'm like, oh my God, this is what we're walking into.
Oh no.
I go to a lot of the different ones too, though. Like I've gone to like 90s Con, like there was one in Daytona earlier this year where the Melrose Place people were, but not Lisa. So I
See,
like,
that's where she would have been better off.
I
She would have
know.
had a better time there.
I love a good con. I love a good con because you go, I get content for the podcast. Listen, I mean, people always say, like, I say to people, I'm not a fan of Housewives because it truly is my job. But I'm thrilled to be like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a fan. Like, I think that's what I love about this business, like being a Gemini. Like you were on my podcast, Nicole. I'm like, okay, Nicole, this is what we're going to do. Then when I'm at a con, like, I'm not working. It's all about you. Like, it's your job. So it's like, I can switch back and forth. I don't need to be like, what am I trying to say? Like, I don't ever need like any special treatment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, Lisa knows who I am. Like, okay, whatever. I'll wait in line. I don't care. Like, does that make
Yeah.
any sense?
Yeah.
So I don't mind a good con because I get content. And I mean, cons are fun.
Yeah, they are fun. They are fun. And there's so many interesting people there. Actually, standing in line is your better bet because you get to hear what's going on. If
Totally.
you had any special treatment and went straight to the front, you'd miss all the good stuff. So
Totally. Yeah. And I'm
right?
just like, and honestly, sometimes you're like, I just don't have the energy for that. Like, I'm literally exhausted. I just want to stand in this line and not speak to anyone. I don't need to like track someone down and find where they are. I'm like, forget this. Just let's do it this way. But
Yeah.
con
Yeah,
is really fun. But that's fun that you're going to that one. Well, I mean, the Baywatch crew is on the move, right? They're on the move.
I mean, it's sort of, yeah, it's been this a little bit of momentum going, keeping us together doing these. So it's always fun to get together because most of us did not work together. So it's always fun to hear different sides of stories and different experiences and how they had it so different than like I did in the beginning. And yeah, so and everybody's oddly very kind to each other, which you would think on a show like that it'd be pretty cutthroat and people would be, catty or mean or bitchy, but they're not. Everybody's really pretty kind to each other, which is it's kind of special.
That's good. Cause yeah, you don't always know if that's how it would go.
Yeah, and it
Because there
is
are
like,
other shows where people don't speak, like Charmed when Shannon Doherty
yeah,
were alive, like Alyssa Milano, like they won't do anything with Alyssa Milano, like Rose McGowan, Holly Marie Combs, and Shannon. They won't do cons with Alyssa. Like
right.
I've even went to a con where they were there Saturday and Sunday, and Alyssa had to come on Friday just by herself and then leave. Like Shannon, like it's just they really. So sometimes the wounds don't heal, right?
I know. Yeah, it was really that feud was really still going. I had to check in on Alyssa after Shannon passed because I saw so much mean shit online, and I was like, if I'm seeing this, she's got to be feeling this. And I liked Shannon too. They're both very strong, powerful women. So those kind of personalities don't always get along, and I wasn't there for any of it, so there's no sides to be taken. But yeah, ugly.
Ugly. Well, it got, I think, reignited at a convention because I think it was that convention I just mentioned. I think on Friday night, someone asked Alyssa a question about it. And I think based on her answer, that's when I think the next day Shannon and Holly were like, "Oh, no, like we're going to tell you what our side of it. Who knows?" And then I think that opened a whole can of worms.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think when Shannon passed, she said like 2 people were not invited to her funeral to not show up was Jenny Garth and Alyssa. And I just was like, who said
Wow.
yeah, that's harsh. That's when like
Yeah.
there's some bad blood. So
And like
Yeah.
Alyssa made a statement right after, which you almost have to, right? Like people are gonna, and I thought it was, she got torn apart for making a statement, but I thought it was like a great statement. Like it really didn't say much. Like it didn't pretend, because everyone jumps on the bandwagon and then pretends they were close with you in Hollywood and they really weren't. But it didn't do that for me. I thought it was just like a very respectful statement of like,
I agree.
I
I agree. I
respect
thought
her
she
for the
had
following reasons, but it didn't pretend like they were such good friends. So I thought that was good. I thought it was a good statement.
yeah, I thought she handled it well. It was, the
Yeah.
best she could have. And yeah, touchy subject. And it's hard when all the fans get involved and take sides. And I mean, yeah, it's wild.
Yes.
It's
So
wild.
it's
Alyssa
just
takes
good
a
to.
lot of heat when she comments on my posts. I mean, people just jump on it and just start at her. If it's not about Shannon, it's about politics. And it's just like this has nothing to do with any of it, but people just yeah, they fly to it. Like,
The Charmed fans run deep. Like I don't know how Baywatch fans fight over people, but Charmed fans, Alyssa and Shannon, it's deep for them.
it's deep. Yeah, no, we don't have that on Baywatch because nobody really actually fought. Like, I mean, I think that later in the years, I heard about some like cattiness with women, on set, which to be expected. And everybody was young and they felt competitive and all of that, and probably some insecurities and all of that. But I think now that everybody's grown and it's something we can look back on fondly, I don't think there's many that don't get along. So it's
That's
kind of
good.
rare. Yeah,
That's good.
rare
That's
and
rare.
amazing. Yeah.
That's
So
rare.
what are our predictions for the new Beverly Hills coming out? Did you watch it? Obviously, you saw the trailer, right?
I mean, to me, Beverly Hills is my favorite. I
Yeah.
just like, I don't know. I like when Vanderpump first started and you saw, broke Stassi and Jax living in these apartments and the cabinets and I either want to see that and like you're broke and like you're just starting out, or I just want to see filthy rich. I don't want to see in the middle on TV. That's really, I don't want to see like you in like your minivan driving your two kids to school. That's just me. So I don't mind seeing like, actual waiters and waitresses that are working at a restaurant trying to make it in Hollywood, and then you trade up and get a bigger apartment. I love that. But I mean, I just love watching Beverly Hills because everyone is just truly so rich and it's just fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I love it. I love
I
it, love
love
it, love
it,
it.
right?
Mhm.
I mean, I
Yeah.
want to see the clothes. They go on vacation, and Kyle's like, I got you all a little gift in the store. And it's like, says like $6,000. She gets one for everyone. You're just like, this is what I want to watch. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I'm excited. Are you guys excited for Beverly Hills? I'm excited.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think it's my favorite franchise too.
Me too.
And then OC would be second, but I don't know. Salt Lake has really, really given OC a run for its money with me. So,
those
yeah.
three. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm back on the OC kick now. They lost me for a season or two, but I thought it was great this season. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
But when
are
you
my
talk
three.
about that middle of the road, that's sort of Gina and Emily, isn't it? Like, I feel like they're so, not to be mean, but to be mean. It's very middle of the road, and it's they are mean. They're mean. And I'm just not sure where they're coming from most of the time, those two. But I
And
feel like Gina got a job as a realtor, and all of a sudden she thinks she's like hot shit, and it just
No
gets on my
kidding.
nerves. Yeah, right.
and they've been there now. Like, yes, like Tamara's the longest for the actual housewives, like Shannon's up there, but like Emily and Gina have outlasted 95% of everyone. Like if you look at like the other names like Gretchen or Alexis, even Kelly, like Emily and Gina have, like, we just don't think of it, which I guess says something about them, but they have had such a run. I'm like, how did this happen? Wow.
I know. Oh, you said Kelly Dodd. I saw a post she did, and she said that she wants everybody to get together and do a class action lawsuit against Tamara, all for defamation. That they should all sue her. They should all get together and sue her.
Yeah.
I love the idea that Kelly Dodd's not on the show and it drives her crazy. I love it.
It drives her
just-
crazy.
I love the fact that she's not doing what she wants to do. I can't figure out why.
It drives her
Right.
crazy. And I don't think she'll go back. I think she's off brand now too. I think Vicky's
She
off
is.
brand. I think Kelly's off brand. No offense. I just don't think either will ever be back.
I hope that's the
Yeah,
case.
I don't think
Yeah.
so either. And I mean, yeah, and I think Kelly's political views really put the nail in that coffin for her. I mean,
I
let's
think,
tell it
and
like
she
it is.
tells you, that's what she says too. She's
Yeah.
like, this is why. Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some truth to that. I don't know. Oh,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, it's very weird. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I love this so much.
You guys need to let me know when it's coming out. Tag me. I will share it with my audience. You're going to come back on my show, Nicole. I'm going to text you.
Okay, awesome.
Which I
look
told you
forward
the
to it.
last time I saw you. But
Yes.
Dave, you could feel free to come on anytime too.
Thank you very much.
I
It's
didn't
been
know
nice.
you were up on your Housewives either.
Oh,
Yeah.
I watch all the time. As my kid always says, he goes, "I have two moms. I watch like crazy."
There you go. I'm all for everyone that watches Housewives. So thank you.
Yep.
So
Thank you,
thank
David.
you
Nice
guys.
meeting
Oh, and
you.
everyone could listen to Behind the Velvet Rope wherever you find your podcast. Feel free to
Yes,
give it a
check
listen.
it out. It is thoroughly entertaining. It's a great podcast. He does a great job. And yes, check it out.
Thank you guys. This was so much fun. I'll see you
Thank
later.
you.
Thank
See
you,
ya.
David.
Bye.
All right, there you go. That was really cool. I can always talk Housewives, so it was a lot of fun. Kind of covered our "What are you watching" segment right there.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we'll jump right into your mailbag if that's okay with you.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, let's go to the mailbag again. It's perfectlytwistedpod.com. If you have a question for Nicole, go ahead and go right there to the website, and you'll see the mailbag at the top of the screen, and you insert your questions. All right, so we have 5 questions from Kathy today. Okay.
Okay.
Nicole, would you ever date a man that was shorter than you?
That's such an interesting question and topic because when I was younger, no. And I I don't know I don't know what that was about. I think it was a feeling of like being with a bigger, stronger guy. It just feels more like safe.
Yeah.
It felt more safe. But so I think there was a lot of guys that were on the shorter end that I didn't give an opportunity to. And I realize that now, like as an adult, that all these other qualities that we find so attractive when we're younger aren't necessarily what we really need in our life. So yes, I mean, but shorter than me, I don't think you can find much shorter than me. So that's like that would be strange. But on the shorter end, I would.
What about
I mean,
height?
shorter
Is there
than me, like guys, do you know how short I am?
What about height? What's the height? What's the maximum height you'd go?
Well, I've dated guys. My daughter's father is 6'3".
Okay. Yeah.
Um, you know, most of my boyfriends were tall like that. There were a
Yeah.
few that weren't. Like I don't have a type. That's the other thing. I am all over the spectrum with if you lined up all of the guys I dated, none of them have anything in common. There's no common
There you
thread
go. Good for you.
whatsoever. So, yeah.
There you go. All right, next question. I love this question. Makes me laugh. Have you ever been in a relationship where the person you were with had a safe word during sex? Like I don't know, maybe I'm not interesting. I've never been with anyone that we had a safe word. It never
No,
happened.
me neither. I'm not sure.
No kind
But
of
is the
work.
safe
The
word
word
like
no
when you're
kind of
like it's
work.
going too far, like it's getting
Yeah.
too weird and you have to stop?
No.
Is that
Yeah.
what a safe word is for?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I guess you need a major safe word like banana or something. Like, I don't understand why no or stop doesn't work, but anyway, I just laugh whenever I hear a safe word. It always cracks me up.
No, the only safe word I have is with my children when they were little. If they were going to be picked up by somebody that wasn't me, in case
Yeah.
of an emergency,
Nice.
there was a safe
Smart.
word.
Very
But
smart.
not in the bedroom. Nope. And you're right. Maybe I'm boring too. I didn't think I was
That's
that boring, but
yeah.
no safe words.
Yeah. I just don't know why stop or no it doesn't work, but okay.
Yeah,
There you
stop
go.
that. Stop that. I understand what that means.
All right. I love these kind of questions right here. These are the kind of questions I play with my kids as they got older. We just throw random stuff out. If you could only have 2 of these 3 things, which would you choose? 2 eyes, 2 legs, or 2 arms?
Oh, I would keep my arms and legs.
Yeah, and you'd go with 1 eye. right?
Yeah, because I already
Yeah.
barely
Yeah.
have an eye. My vision is shit already. So
Yeah.
no, I would keep my arms and my legs, I suppose.
I would too. I would
Yeah.
too. I'd go with the one eye, and I don't know. I know a bunch of people who either were born without a hand or don't have an arm. And then I was like, how do you button your shirt? How do how do you do certain things with one arm? It's
Well, if
tough.
you're born that way, I believe
You figure it out.
yeah, you figure it out.
Yeah.
But if you've lived your whole life at
Yeah.
52 years old, if you were to take one of my
No kidding.
arms away, I think I'd be kind of helpless. I would be a mess. So I think I'd keep my arms and my legs.
I would too. I would
Yeah.
too. All right. Fourth question. Would you consider doing online dating?
Oh, I've toyed with this idea
I
and
would.
I signed up, huh?
I would. 100% I would. I think it would
You would?
cut down so much of, is this going to work or not? That if you sit and you cut out a bunch of stuff that are obviously no goes, that it gives you a head start.
You think see, I think but you're not looking at it deep enough, okay?
All right,
Because
go ahead.
so
Help me out.
many people you're deceived by what somebody can appear like online. You
Sure.
get in person and they walk funny or they talk funny or eh, they have some kind of weird quirk or something that is like a turnoff. And plus online you can pretend to be somebody you're not at all. Right?
True.
There's none of that chemistry. And so there's people that I've dated that if I had seen their picture online, I would have never dated them. It was because
Yeah.
there was chemistry and I liked who they were as a person. So I've toyed with getting online and I've made a couple profiles, but quite honestly, I'm too shy. I'm very, very shy. And so somebody would message me and I would rather die than message back. It's I'm terrible. So
Yeah.
a man really has to kind of pursue me and I think that a- in person just there's something so much more just genuine about it. Online you're looking and I think you would overlook some good candidates online. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion.
I'm sure. Yeah. No, you're probably right. Yeah. Like there'd be some obviously no's in there for me, but I don't know if they'd be honest on their profile as right. You know?
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Nicole, have you ever been recruited to be part of a pyramid scheme or a cult?
Um
Pyramid scheme, I have been recruited for a pyramid scheme for sure.
have you?
Multiple ones. Oh yeah. People, oh, you sell this and you get this, but then you realize it goes all the way up and you realize it's hard to, unless you bring in people underneath and you're like, aren't these illegal? Aren't pyramid schemes illegal? Not
Yeah.
a cult. No one's ever tried to pull me into a cult, but a pyramid scheme, yes.
Okay, so a pyramid scheme, yes, I think people have said oh, you should try. I've gotten emails or messages you should, get on board to sell this. And if you sell
Yeah.
this person makes this. Yeah, those weird Ponzi things. Yes, but nothing ever too serious. And a cult, okay, this is not really a cult, but my experience, and I just talked about this on a podcast I did yesterday. I worked on a movie where I believe a lot of the production were Scientologists.
Oh, really?
And there were some weird things going on. And they would talk to me when on downtime about they would talk about the other side of the sun. And I'm not sure if it's Scientology or what they were. A lot of people had said to me, this sounds like Scientology. So that's why I said that. But I don't really know. I never really got to the bottom of it, nor do I really want to. And they invited me to a dinner. And I showed up, and that's not uncommon to be, invited by
Yeah.
producers to go out to dinner when you're working on something. And I brought a friend with me. And when we showed up to this dinner, what was interesting was that there was this wide variety of crew, from atmosphere to PAs to producers. And that was not what was common. That was suddenly oh, well, this is an interesting dinner. And when we sat down, they went around the table and talked about stuff each person had, which was also strange, but I was still fine. And they got to my friend and they ripped her apart.
Oh,
They hated her. They ripped her apart. And she gets up. She's like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. She storms to the bathroom. I follow her. She's like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, I honestly don't know. Like, and I don't know to this day if that girl thought that maybe I was talking about her to these people, but these people
Wow.
did this all on their own. Like they had this like preconceived notion of her. And I'm not sure they were so wrong, but it was very strange the way they handled it. It's very strange
Yeah.
and very uncomfortable. And so Chelsea Handler was also an actress on this project. And I went to dinner with her after this whole big dinner thing happened, this fiasco. And I said to her that these strange things had been going on. And so she takes it upon herself. It was the worst decision I ever made confiding in her. She goes on set the next day and yells out, Nicole thinks you're all a bunch of Scientologists. What the hell's going on here?
Fuck.
She yells this out. And I want to die. I want to die. Nobody
Oh my God.
answered. Everybody was completely silent. Like everybody just was like, what? And then the day went on and I was horrified. I was horrified the entire rest of the shooting. I was dating a guy at the time who was freaked him out. He got freaked out on me, thinking I was converting, sent a bodyguard to, to go with me to work. The whole thing was so bizarre.
Wow.
It was one of the worst, most confusing sets I've ever been on. The experience was wild. I still to this day don't know what the hell happened, what went on. It was weird. And in weird situations, I just kind of close up and just observe. And it just got weirder from that point. So that's the closest I've ever been.
You know what
to,
is funny? I don't know Chelsea Handler at all, but that's exactly how I would have guessed she would have reacted. That's what made me laugh so hard. That's what if you would have said, what do you think she did? And it's exactly what I would have guessed. She would have just called everybody out and made it uncomfortable and did not give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely blew up my spot. What a bitch. Yeah. Never talking to that one again. Yeah.
Oh, that was funny. That was good. That was
So-
good. All right. That was it. That's Kathy. Thanks for the questions. That was a great
Yes.
story, Nicole. That was
Those
awesome.
were good questions, Kathy. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. That's
Those were
great.
fun.
That's great.
Yes.
Have a great time in Toronto this weekend.
Thank you. I shall enjoy myself. And I will see your friend Jeff there.
There you go. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
excited. He's been telling me, he said, hey, even though he's in Southern California all the time, he goes, I'm gonna see Nicole in Toronto. I go, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining us. And we will catch you next week.